matter how much time I've got left, I'm going to praise the Lord. I'm going to praise Him. Why am I going to praise Him? Praise Him because He's been so me. Really took the time to think about how good the Lord has been to you. That song that says, count your blessings. Name them one by one. Then you'll be able to see what the Lord has done. I declare He's a good God. Mighty God. Yeah, that's what made the songwriter write that song through many days. Cause and slay. I am already the Lord. Eternal God, our Father, we come now in the precious name of your Son, Jesus. We thank you, God, for what we've already heard and felt this morning. God, we thank you because we realize it's only because of you. So, Lord, we ask you right now to keep doing what you've been doing. Lord, just take it to a higher plane in the name of Jesus. And as your word goes forth, God, that it will strengthen our hearts and minds and spirits, that we might serve you better. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen. Amen. I just pray. There weren't but a few of them up there, but they sound like they had a whole choir back there. You got to be like, if the Lord, if you just open your mouth, the Lord will speak for you. Oh, bless His name. Bless His name. God is just God. God. He just I don't know why, but He just He just keep on doing it over and over and over and over. He just thank you, Father. I can't find a reason that He keeps doing it. Thank you. But I'm just glad He does. Thank you. Just glad He keeps looking beyond my faults. See my name. Wow. I don't know about you, but I declare today that I got some faults. I declare to you today that I've got some T's that I ain't crossed and some I's that I have not done. Yes, but I'm just glad that God keeps looking beyond my faults. Because if He keeps looking, one day I'm gonna get them right. See, I got to get it right because before I go to heaven, it's got to be right. He gonna make it right. He gonna make it right. Oh, praise God. We're just grateful. We just love the Lord today. Just love you, Jesus. Love you so much. Praise God. Praise God. Praise God. We are grateful to God to see Sister Wade back this morning. Sister Young went south for the death of a loved one. And we're just grateful to see God, and we're grateful that Sister Jones, Brother Jones' family's come from California. Amen. I was saying to my wife, isn't it amazing? A few weeks ago, they had so much fire, they had no water to put it out. Now look at what they got, rain, mudslides. It's just amazing. It's just amazing. Nobody can figure it out. thank God that they're safe. Amen. Amen. As we share with you very quickly this morning from that 3rd chapter of the book of Daniel, I want to talk from the thought, standing firm, come what may. Standing firm, come what may. In life, there will come times when we may be put on trial in a court of law or on trial of public opinion. Whichever one, you will have to stand on what you believe, no matter what the evidence may say or may not say. What people say or don't say. What people believe or not believe. But you got to stand because of what you know the truth to be. It is amazing when people think they know the truth, but are so far off base, it's just laughable. We ought not try to say we know what's going on in a person if we don't know, if we've never been in that person, and we've never been inside of anyone. So we gotta be careful when we tell folks we know what you're thinking or feeling. According to our text, some 2,500 years ago, there was such a trial that took place in the city of Babel. Come on. There was two sides who had a difference of opinion on the truth and power of those that were in charge. One side was the party that felt that theological truth is relative and can be arbitrarily established by an earthly king if he is so powerful enough to enforce his will. Now, the person that we have in the White House is the most powerful person on this earth. And he forces his will on people. But there's another side. The opposing side felt like the theological truth is absolute and non-negotiable and can only be established by God Almighty.
All right, all right.
Only the Word of God and the power of God is non-negotiable. Which side represented the truth may have been difficult to tell in this trial had not it begun or if certain men had decided to cave to the king's pressure. Sometimes people can put so much pressure on you that it makes you do what you know you ought not do. But because these men in this text stood firm,
Say so, say so.
did not cave, this question was unequivocally answered for all who was present to see what happened on that day. The goal of this sermon this morning is to see how we too can make sure that we stand firm
Yes, sir. Yes.
in defense of the truth of the God we serve. The first thing I want to talk about is, I want to talk about three things and I want to be finished. The first point I want to talk about is rejection and rage. You know, when some people are rejected, they can't handle it.
Say so.
It causes them to become angry and they got to strike out. One may wonder why Nebuchadnezzar is so taken back by Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to bow down to the image he constructed. It was clear to Nebuchadnezzar that their refusal to bow down to his image was a rejection of his authority and caused the king to become unhinged. For it shows the king that that they were not concerned about his authority. We as the people of God, we must take a stand on that which we know is wrong. Because we have right on our side.
Well,
Because anytime you're on the Lord's side,
yes, sir.
you're on the right side. Yeah, they told the king earlier that they believed that their God could, not would, but could deliver them if he so chose. But, O king, let it be known, no matter what the circumstance might be, if he chooses not to deliver us, it's not because he can't. Huh? Because there's nothing that God can't do. And no matter if he doesn't do it, we are still not going to bow down to your image. Yeah. I'm not going to do it your way, no matter what. They told the king that they had so much faith in God. And these men, what they did, they remained loyal to God.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Listen,
Preach it. Preach it.
being loyal
Take your time.
to whom you are following, if they are right, is the key to success. This was an unwelcome reminder to Nebuchadnezzar that he was not the most powerful entity out there. The contrast between Nebuchadnezzar's uncontrollable rage and the Hebrew boys' calm and collective demeanor is a beautiful picture of the promise that God made in Isaiah. When God said to keep in perfect peace those whose mind is stayed on him. See, when things get turned upside down in your life, you got to put your mind on him. Yeah, this is the promise that every believer can receive by faith today. During a trial of your faith, don't worry about what you are dealing with. Put your mind on the problem solver. Yes. Put your faith to work and not your feet. Come on now. Yeah. If you trust God and never doubt, he will surely bring you out.
Yes, he will. Yes, he will.
David said, wait on the Lord and be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thy heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord.
Yes.
Yeah, sometimes you got to build you a tent and wait.
All right, wait.
On God. Yeah, the old folks said, you've heard, he may not come when you want him. He's always on time. See, God you can think God is late, but he ain't never late. He's always on time. Yeah. The next point I want to make to you is acknowledging the miraculous. See, sometimes we see things that we don't even believe ourselves. Nebuchadnezzar was in that situation. For we're told in verses 19 through 23 that Nebuchadnezzar was so angry and anxious to act on that anger that he had the furnace heated much hotter than normal, and he had the men brought, essentially preventing them from doing anything to relieve their suffering. He tied them up.
Yes, he did.
Sometimes your troubles and your situation will tie you up. That you can't break the chain, that you can't get through it by yourself. But But as that, what's the girl name that sang that song? Break every chain. See, you can't break the chains, but the power of God can break your chains and release you. Even all had the experience, all of us had the experience of opening an oven door and feeling the heat come out of the door. But imagine if that heat was turned up several hundred times what you felt. It would burn your eyelashes off. Yeah, it is thus a horrible image, yet obviously clear, that this same heat multiplied several hundred times is what killed the men that threw them in the furnace. Be careful when you bring other folk to throw them in the furnace.
That's right.
Because when you get close, the fire just might consume you.
Come on, Pastor. Come on, you preaching.
And that's what God did. You got to be careful when you mess with God's folks.
That's right.
They were Hebrew children. They were God's people. Yeah, and when they brought them to the furnace, yeah, the fire consumed them. Yeah, be careful when you're sitting and plotting other folks' downfall. Like they said, when you dig one hole, the Lord dig two. It was therefore all the more clear to Nebuchadnezzar that something miraculous had taken place in that furnace. And if surviving the heat was not enough, on top of this, he also saw what was clearly a divine being in the furnace with them. See, because he knew how many he threw in. But because of what he saw, he couldn't even remember how many he threw in. He said, didn't we? Didn't we throw in 3? We didn't open the door. We didn't open the door anymore until I opened it now. So it couldn't have been opened and closed again. He said, but now I look and clearly I see a divine being in the flame with them. That tells me that God, that Jesus will get in the fire with you. Whatever you're going through, you need to know that Jesus will get right in there with you.
Yes, he will.
And he'll work it out right along. And when things are worked out, somebody's going to ask, what happened? Yeah, Jesus, but look what Jesus did. He not only was in the fire with them, but he did something else.
Yes, sir.
See, when Jesus, when you got Jesus with you, strange and unexplainable things can happen. Jesus took the heat out of fire.
Well.
Jesus took the smoke out of the fire. Jesus took the smell of out of the fire. If fire don't have no heat, don't have no smoke, and don't have no smell, is it fire? What was it? It was Jesus in the midst. And when Jesus is in there with you, no matter what you go through, you will come out looking like you're going. That's why the songwriter said, please be patient with me. God is not finished with me yet. The evidence of God being finished with me is that I'm going to come forth. That's pure gold. That's pure gold. Yeah. When God's finished with me, I ain't going to look like I look now. Well, because the Word of God says that when we see Jesus, we're going to see Him just as He is. And I can't see Him as He is unless I'm like Him. I can't see Him in the physical flesh as I am now, but I must have my new fleshly body. I must have on that incorruptible body, that I might see Jesus just as He is. Nebuchadnezzar had no choice but to acknowledge the sovereignty of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego's God. When you know for a fact that it was God, you got to acknowledge who it was. Yeah, when God brings you out of your situation, you need to give Him credit and honor and glory.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And never think that you did it yourself. Right. Because if we could do it ourselves, we would never call on Him. I call on Him because I can't do it myself. When we stand firm, we too can look for God to work miraculously on our behalf. My beloved brethren, I heard Paul tell the church at Corinth. He says, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as you will know that your labor is not in vain. Church, I tell you today, we ought to stop worrying about am I going to get credit for what I do in the church? Is somebody going to see that I brought this tablecloth up? If I brought these flowers up? If I made that cake? Is somebody going to say good, or somebody going to make a big deal about what you've done? If you're looking for folks to make a big deal of it, baby, don't do it.
Come on now. Come on now.
I'm only worried about what the Lord sees.
I know that.
I'm not worried about what you say, what you see, because I may do my best.
Come on.
And you may not think it's my best.
Yes, sir.
But only God knows that it's my best. And as long as we please God.
That's right. That's all that matters.
Don't worry about whether man is pleased or not.
Yes.
If he ain't pleased, he'll get pleased. The third thing, and I'm finished. Actions speaks louder than words. The action speak louder than words. Yeah, this morning, if we'd have just told Brother Kine, we love you.
Come on, Pastor. Come on, break it down.
But have a good day.
Make an example.
My God.
Show what kind of...
What kind of love would that be?
That's what I was talking about.
What kind of love would that be?
Come on.
Show
Talk about it, forget
how much you
That's right.
love me.
about it.
When I'm in trouble, that's when I need you.
Yes.
Say so.
That's why we ought to do our best when we know our brothers and sisters are in trouble or they need our help. Yeah, despite his outrage, Nebuchadnezzar was an intelligent man. He could clearly see and no longer deny that all the accounts and any measure, what was demonstrated in that situation with these men, proved that their God was worthy of praise. It was clear that God took the heat out of the fire. And it was clear that he had visited his servants in their time of need. Won't he do it too?
Yeah.
Won't he visit you when you think you are at your end, your wit's end, and you just can't take anymore, you just can't go any further? Won't God show up in your situation? You'll tell the Lord, I just can't go any longer. Lord said, just hold on. A little while longer. And everything will be all right. Many people may say glowing and complimentary things about their God. But what was demonstrated here on this day spoke louder and more convincingly than any words could. It is about what you do, not what you say. Huh? You remember when the trial came and these boys, no matter what he said. And then their friend David even got more bold than they did. Because the king said,